Welcome to the Scott Townsend Show, brought to you by Dietzo Man Productions.
The time we started playing music during the announcements. You remember that?
No.
A lot of people remember we were playing something during the announcements. Didn't know we had finally gotten it to work. And then Pennell and somebody comes walking down into the electronics lab next to the gym where we were. I forget the guy that taught us. And they're like, oh no. And they come walking over to us. Scott looks over his shoulder and sees the principal, reaches up and swipes down the wires that were connected to the stereo we had. And they're following and going, I don't know. Pennell says, next time you guys should at least play Willie Nelson.
Hey, this is Scott Townsend. Welcome back to the Scott Townsend Show. And today we're doing I've been doing a mini-series. We've been doing a couple of mini-series within the Scott Townsend Show. 57 things I would tell my younger self, talking about how to have more productive meetings. And the other one that we started a couple of weeks ago is conversations with graduates from the last graduating class of Col-Hi, 1982. So we talked to Chris Zervis and Stacy Dennis. Today I have with me a good friend, longtime friend, known each other forever, seems like. Welcome to the show, Donnie Mooreland. Donnie, how's it going?
Going well. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, thanks for coming on. I know you're busy, and but it's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun getting to know, getting back up to speed with the graduates of Col-Hi, 1982, and I'll just start asking questions. And what are you doing these days?
Working hybrid.
Hybrid.
You know, so many people working from home. I started out working from home here in Oklahoma City about the beginning of 2020 for when everybody went through the shutdown. I was at Boeing and we started and worked about 3 months. And then of course, everything happened right here in Oklahoma City. This is ground zero, right? You know, Rudy Gobert coming to town with the Jazz, playing the OKC Thunder and come back to work the next day. And a guy across from me says, I was watching the game. And a guy across from me says, yeah, I was there. I'm like, whoa. And within a few, I want to say a day and a half, we were sent home. And I worked from home for about 10 months. And came back to a company in Bartlesville after that 10 months. That friend of mine I'd worked for about 15 years, I guess. And he had an opening, and I was like, I kind of like working from home. How about we do a little, and I really like Oklahoma City. So how about we do a little hybrid and I come up once a week. So far so good since November. So that's cool.
Remote work seems to be the deal. I mean, we got sent home from ABB. We started working from home for a couple of weeks, and I really enjoyed it. I seemed to get a whole lot more done.
Yeah, it was tough with all the isolation last year with everything going on in the country. And being in OKC, I live near downtown. So, I mean, marches and helicopters flying overhead and just a lot going on. But you know, each day getting out and running around the city. I got to see OKC, I think, in a real unique way because of everything was shut down. So I'd hop on my bike and you could ride around downtown Oklahoma City. It was kind of like the movie with Will Smith, I Am Legend, where there's nothing out there. So I saw lots of architecture and just neighborhoods, you know, just riding around during that. But yeah, so now it's still good though to be. When I come up, I'm glad I'm there a couple of days a week at least, seeing people, being in the office. Then I come back home and work. So just doing a lot of business analyst type things for them, and that's about it.
When you look back on Col-Hi, 1982, what's one of the first things you think of looking back on that senior year?
It's funny. It wouldn't be probably the first thing I think of on a normal basis, but I just had a trigger. Walking through, I don't even know where I was, but a teenager that I knew, and African American teenager too. Okay, had on an AC/DC shirt.
Mm.
I was like, what the heck? And it said Back in Black. And it just boom. You know where I'm going with this?
I
It was
think so.
The senior pyramid when all the guys at the pyramid during the pep rally.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess it was for the basketball game because we didn't play the football game, remember?
Yeah.
They cut the football game out. And so you get that's in the yearbook.
Yeah.
I started telling the story. I was like, I think it was a pillow sheet that I cut and then wrote it on there with the
Where is it? Oh, there it is. There
it is. It stood up on the top of it, and nobody knew I was going to do that. And you guys went nuts when I did that. And then try not to fall off the top of the pyramid.
Thank you for joining the Scott Townsend Show. We'll be back right after this.
Pop's Daylight Donuts, man, they've got the best tasting donuts, sausage wraps, pastries in Northeast Oklahoma. And also, if you'll tell the staff there, hey, Scott Townsend said to give me a large spicy pig, they'll give you a free large spicy sausage wrap. But you have to tell them Scott Townsend sent you. So tell them, hey, Scott Townsend told me to tell you to give me a large spicy pig. So there's the offer. There's the call to action. So go to Pop's Daylight Donuts, say hi to Mark for me, and go to Pop's Daylight Donuts and get you some. The other sponsor is Cast-A-Fly Outdoor Adventures.
Adventure. That's where it begins. We look to create and document our moments in time while embracing the majestic wonder and beauty of the great outdoors. Our quest is to explore the back roads of the Ozarks, camping, fishing, and just getting lost. Refresh your spirit and join us on our next adventure.
Paul and his crew invite you to subscribe to the Cast-A-Fly Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel.
So that, because we had so many traditions, and if you remember, several of us had kind of abandoned our dating choices at Col-Hi, and we were dating across town, and I was one of them. And so I'd gotten to know a lot of people at Sooner during that year too. So
when you say across town, for those that don't know, you're talking about
yeah,
the other high school.
the
Sooner
other
High.
high school, kind of like that other university here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So kind of made a few acquaintances over there, and it really kind of softened the whole thing, But yeah, I remember that. I don't know, the car, putting the car in the lobby,
Oh,
Jimmy Webb. I told a story at Jennifer Williams, funeral about an incident with her mooning me in downtown, and her daughters and everybody just cracked up. And and the thing that was cool about that was she had told them that story. And I remember coming to school, and because Jennifer had mooned me, and then
wait, how did that what happened?
Okay.
What do you mean? So
okay, let's do something that's more modern.
Oh,
all right.
okay.
Oh, you said storytelling, right?
Yeah.
So, it's always been two sides of Bartlesville. It's two sides of this country. I mean, here we are in this moment, so we might as well encapsulate some of it.
All right.
So, ritual for me being cross-cultural, so to speak, because obviously we've been friends a long time. In Zervis, really close, played Little League all our lives, still close. So one of the rituals for someone from the west side of Bartlesville would be you roll around Douglas Park, which we call a track field, come down to Adams Boulevard to the tree. The tree is where the Grand Lake, I think, mental health facility is
Oh,
now.
okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. It's a big tree there with a parking lot next to a guy's nightclub.
Okay.
We'd all
Yeah, yeah,
gather
yeah.
there and hang out. Then you leave the tree, you'd ride through and go by the canteen,
Mhm.
roll through the canteen, see who was there, come down Washington, go by McDonald's, loop through McDonald's, Shane's Games,
Mhm.
and then back, and then up to Frank Phillips, turn left and go through into downtown and back towards the west side.
Now,
And
the
so as I'm
nightclub
coming,
across the tree was Hats or what?
no, that was the grown folks. We were at Karen Newton's dad's.
Oh,
You know,
okay. Oh,
remember Karen?
Yeah.
Karen Martin.
right.
That her dad name. So you roll through Frank Phillips, and if you remember, the lights were all timed. Do you remember the stoplights downtown?
I mean, I don't remember them being timed, but I remember the stoplights.
They're
Yeah.
timed. Oh yeah. See, you're going west all the time. You know that. They're timed. You drive 17 miles an hour, you make every light. So I'm cruising along, driving along 17, and this car is next to me. And of course, it's Jennifer and somebody. And I think it was Kim Harrison, and she'll kill me if it wasn't her. And Kim was driving.
What kind of
And
car were
I
you
think-
driving?
I think it was a white Toyota, Carina. So you go through the lights, but they were going zip, stop, zip, stop, because they didn't know. Just like you didn't know. 17 miles an hour, making every light. And I get close to the last light, right there by Copeland Appliance Center.
Yeah.
Okay, which is now Boomerang Diner,
Yep.
near that area.
Mhm.
And I'm about to go, and I look over and I said, I think I know who that is. But by then, she'd started to move, And I looked over and I got mooned and I went, I just got mooned. I've never been mooned in my life. Okay. But Jennifer made the mistake of sitting back up before they turned left. And she looked over and looked right in my face and saw me. It's Donnie. But she just ducked back down. And then they turned. She was like, turn. Turn. And I'm like rolling back, just cracking up. So that's like probably Friday or Saturday night.
Okay.
Boy, I could wait for Monday morning. I get to school. I'm walking down a hallway, and here comes Jennifer. And she's like, oh, do you know she kept a stone face? I was like, Jennifer, I can't believe you moaned me. She's like, I know what you're talking about. I wasn't even out there that night. I mean, she totally convinced me that I was wrong. She told me about that. She had fessed up to it 5 years later.
Oh, yeah.
5 years later at OSU.
Oh, wow.
One night at Mexico Joe's.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of my memories.
Gosh.
But that was just really cool. Kind of like said something about our class that her kids knew that story. And
Yeah.
so it went after the funeral and we were all gathering. It was, oh my gosh, you're that guy. And then Jimmy comes up to me, Webb, and he says, all that time we knew that story. Jennifer told us that story, but she never told us it was you. And that's our classmates, So
Yeah.
it was kind of reminds me of just how some of us have kind of kept in touch.
Right. That's awesome. That's a
Mhm.
great story.
Yeah,
Who do you think was the most impactful teacher or coach for you in high school, senior year?
Gonna sound ironic. It's a duo. I'll call them the dynamic duo. I just got to give one of them a hug at Sunfest.
Oh, yeah.
Is the Sues, Sue Reynolds, and what was the other Sue?
Sue Reynolds, yeah.
Smith,
Greg Smith?
Sue Smith,
Sue Smith. Okay.
Family
No,
Living,
yeah.
right?
Sue Reynolds. Stacy
And
mentioned her. She said she was one of
yeah,
her favorites.
yeah, and then Mrs. Smith, I believe it was she was everybody's mother, you know.
Hmm.
Well, Ms. Reynolds ended up being my next door neighbor. She
Oh,
lived
yeah.
one door down for most of my kids' childhood when we were hanging out and doing stuff together with our kids. Yeah, I saw Miss Reynolds the other day. Just one of those things where all the other stuff fit together as far as math and all those things.
Yeah.
But they were teaching us about how you get an apartment, how to cook a meal, how to
Mhm.
balance a checkbook, things like
Mhm.
that, and that those things had probably more impact on me than the rest of it. I mean, yeah, I earn a living from some of the other things, but
Right.
just practical home stuff.
Yeah, Stacy mentioned the same thing. That's funny.
She did.
Yeah.
I had keep in that same lane of keeping it kind of real and relevant for the times. Things that you may not hear about unless you have a friend like me that tells you.
Right.
Being a Black kid coming through. What another influential person was because of a negative influence, and kind of well-meaning, but I don't know. What was our counselor's name? One of our counselors. Oh, I could tell you if my mind wasn't 57 years old, right? It may come to me, but I remember
Counselors,
going
got to be
in
in the yearbook here.
You got to be in there. It's probably
Yeah.
There were two or three of them, and I remember going in after we do those aptitude tests, and then we would do those. The aptitude tests those were for someone else, right?
Mhm.
The interest tests were for us. Here's
Right.
what your interests are. And so my interests would come around and they would be kind of real broad. I always end up kind of in the middle in the you're crazy, area of those Myers-Briggs and others,
Right.
real balanced. And so yeah, I'd have this math aptitude and this science aptitude, but I'd also have all of this relational aptitude. And so I'd thought I might want to be a psychologist. And the counselor said, go back and look at some of your other interests. And I was like, why didn't you say that? And she's like, yeah, because you'll never make any money being a Black psychologist. Now, you think you could hear that now
Oh,
and not be in
no.
trouble?
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
It was different times, man.
I'd probably be rich. You know what I mean? So
That's crazy.
I think I went back and I found some of the science and math stuff that she said, yeah, you might want to look at that. And then I came back and said, oh, okay, I want to go to Okmulgee Tech and go in electronics or electricity. And then she said, you're undershooting yourself. I was like, okay. Never knowing it. Well, most of my friends that are really well off now, they don't work for somebody else. They probably are the electricians or the electronics guys that work for themselves, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Or the welders or something like that.
There's
They
no
don't
bigger
sit around-
demand for that kind of stuff than right now.
Right. And not saying, life doesn't throw you those curves. You and I both know about that. Layoffs
Right.
come, they do. But some people have made the 30 years, some haven't. And so I went back and that's how I ended up in engineering. Because she never did just say outright, you should look at engineering.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, you're undershooting yourself. Oh, you didn't. So it was negative, but it was impactful. And it was, it did kind of steer me to where I am. So.
And you never really, you just never know at that age, or any age really. You don't know what people's influence will have on you long
That's
term.
true. That's true.
What advice would you give your younger self, if you were to meet Donnie Mooreland at age 18, as he's stepping off the graduation podium stage, and you put his arm around him and say, let me give you a piece of advice. Let me tell you what you're going to need to know. What would that be?
No, probably some of that stuff from family living. You know. Start saving early.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be here before you know it.
Yeah.
That my uncle told me that one. That's a hard one to just do. Some things I told my daughter and son, especially my daughter, do things you like doing, then it won't be like working. Find something you like, you know, really try. And in that way you'll enjoy it, and it won't be like a struggle. But those would probably be the things, is it be around people that are gonna, you know, be positive and help you out and save you money early.
Right.
And find something you really like doing that's in demand, but sometimes you can create one if you don't know. But that's
good.
Probably all I think of. You know, at least study something that you enjoy, because you know, you'll, if it's a struggle with studies, like that joke you had on Facebook, I think it was. I think that building behind me is a library. You know? You know, your wife had that picture. That is hilarious. And I do know people that never went in there. Never. Like, well, you at least get a good nap in there.
You know, we went to the library now, and I was amazed that there were no books in there. There was just all computers, all monitors. That's all there is, for the most part. You can go in there. You can in the library at the Oklahoma State, yeah. And you can not rent, but you can check out cameras, microphones, all kinds of production equipment. I mean, it was so different. I mean, all that used to be in there were just books. Now there's nothing but monitors, computers, and you can check out. I mean, they've got so much stuff for these students now that just were a pipe dream for us, you know.
I'll tell you what's not new is that's the mailboxes at Kerr Drummond Dormitory.
Yeah.
I walked through there one homecoming. I called one of my buddies that was there right after we graduated from high school. He says, look at 317. Is there a crack still in the mailbox? Yeah. In the glass.
Yeah, in the glass.
That was so funny.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, those, you know, we're talking about things you remember about. You may have a question about it, but the sports thing, of course, you know, going to the, it was truly the most bittersweet run of my life. Okay, when our '82 basketball team went through the state, we were a 500 team supposed to get beat. We win our first game, so then you got to keep winning. All right, and we won, but then you get a loss. We took a loss, we came back, and we just said, you know what, let's just have fun, and then we start beating everybody. And the irony was, as the first year the big schools had state in Tulsa. It's always been Oklahoma City.
Oh yeah, at the state playoffs.
So we're looking forward to traveling, right?
Yeah.
No, we got on a van. Somebody put a bunch of sandwiches in a cooler with, you know, just 2 little thin pieces of ham, and that was it. You know, we didn't go out to eat, we didn't do anything.
Oh my God.
We go down there and we're playing the number 1 team in the state, 26-1 or something like that, you know.
I'm looking at the page here. Was that Star Spencer or US?
Yeah, Spencer.
Okay.
And we just got out there and had fun, and we just stuck with them and then annoyed them, and they never got ahead very far. And then we came back and we beat them. Yeah. So we have the infamous shot.
53 to 52.
Yeah, the infamous picture in the shower. Okay, well, that's where we were standing when you saw that team picture, and we're all like that. There's a shower head behind like Tony Brock or somebody, or Jace Larson's head.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then we go on And the next game get beat on last second shot. Real controversial. They even talked about it on the news that night. Talked
So what
about,
happened?
There's two calls that weren't made. We were ahead, and they had to take the ball out at the far end. They had 2 seconds, I think, or 4 seconds, and so you have 5 seconds to get the ball in. And we were always taught to count it. It was one of those things which Coach Bruno taught us to do. We count for the ref. You know, if they're 1, 2, 3 while they're trying to take it in. He took more than 5 to throw it in, and then a guy shoved David Hayes in the back to catch the ball. He took 2 dribbles in 2 seconds, and then rose up and shot it, and made the shot. Well, later on, I'm at OSU, and a bunch of us are in a guy's room, and he's probably cutting hair. He's the guy that had the clippers, and so we're all in his room telling stories, trying to pick out when we were next, who was next. Somehow we start talking about where you went to high school. And I said, yeah, I'm from Bartlesville. And he said, which school? College. I thought I recognized you. He was on the Star Spencer team.
Oh, yeah.
He was going to play on my intramural team. And so I'd been talking to him because we played in the rec center a lot, and he was going to play on my intramural team. And he figures out, he says, man, I'm still mad about that. That was like 3 years into college.
Yeah.
I said, what happened? He says, it was now flip the story. It was the first time we were going to get to travel for state because they came from Oklahoma City.
Right.
We get down there and we lose to you guys. We didn't even check in the hotel. The coach said, get your blanks on the bus. He said, we went home and we didn't even stop at McDonald's. It's funny how perspective, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On that moment, for us in 82, it was we just beat the #1 team in the state. No one knew who we were. It was at one of those side gyms in the middle of the afternoon. Nobody probably hardly came to the game from Star Spencer because they're just going to wait to come, Friday after they mowed through us. They got to play Grant. Grant was the only team that had beaten them. And they barely beat us on last second shot. Isn't that crazy?
70 to 69.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I've taken you up to your hard stop, though.
Oh, yeah, it's 11:30. We're up against the clock here. So, well, Donnie, really appreciate you checking in and visiting with us and sharing some memories and whatnot from Col-Hi.
Great what you're doing. Keep in touch, man.
We'll do it.
You got my numbers.
Well, for Donnie Mooreland, this is Scott Townsend. Thanks for joining the Scott Townsend Show. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.
The Scott Townsend Show is a Dietzo Man production. For more episodes, visit the Scott Townsend Show YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.